Good morning and welcome to AI the Cool Stuff. A bit thin on the ground today. It's one of those weeks we've got a lot of sunshine here, and I think people prefer to be outside than stuck in here. But we'll quickly introduce ourselves anyway. And Steffi.
Oh, Steffi Lewis, 33-year veteran web developer. Just putting finishing touches to a new version on that. What else have I been doing? Everything else, using AI all day, every day. In fact, I've got a window open here. I've been chatting to it already today. I'm obsessed.
Dirty.
Hi, I'm Shirley. I work in health and wellness, and I'm with AI. What do you call them now? Phobia. I've got a phobia about AI.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I expect there's a word for it. But, I don't know.
Oh gosh.
Okay, so you're in the right place. Have you got a phobia about AI, Andy?
Yeah, Andy Harris, 25 years helping people get more from their websites.
Awesome. And you use AI all day?
Yeah, all the time, to the point that this past week I paused a couple of times and things I was doing and thought, I'm really stuffed if this stops working.
Join the club.
Yeah.
My entire business empire collapses.
You do get into that lazy mindset of screenshotting things you can't work out, putting it in there, getting the answers. And I can see why they're saying it's going to dumb us down to a certain extent.
Mm.
When we rely on it.
Yeah. But like yesterday, I had a I mean, I do sort of I'll just say I do web design and web hosting, and I got a guy. I sent him an invoice in January, and he didn't pay. But he didn't answer my emails, and he didn't answer my WhatsApps. And then a month later, his website expired, and I still didn't take it down. I left it a few days, and then I said, "You do realise your website's about to disappear next Monday if you don't pay." And then he said, "Oh no, I don't need you anymore. My mate Stu is looking after the website." Well, his mate Stu wasn't looking after it. His mate Stu was doing some updates actually to the content, but hadn't actually done anything, and he wasn't hosting it or registering his website. So I still registered it, but I took it offline, and I got a really snotty email last night saying we're going to take further action. You're taking our website away and all the rest of it. And then even though I'd sent a complete explanation of the difference between hosting and registering and content, and I sent him. I even got I got Gemini to write an email for someone who's really simple. And it laid it all out in a really good terms, and he still didn't pay. So I took his website off, and then he's paid me. And his website went down, and I haven't noticed because he didn't send me a remittance. He hasn't told me he's paid, so I haven't checked my bank account since then. So the money's gone in. It's 120 quid or something. And then I got this snotty email last night, so I just went on Gemini and said, pull together all the information we've done so far. I brought his website back online, create an email. I did it in about 15 seconds, pasted it to him. And before it would take me ages to work it all out and to write something, and I wouldn't have been very diplomatic. Whereas Gemini got the point across with still, it was firm, but it was also diplomatic and helpful. So I think I find that function really useful, And
Yeah, some people don't like being called a tosser, do they?
No, they don't. No.
Doesn't matter how AI dresses it up.
That's right. Yeah, it just ignores what I write, and then just I sort of tell it what I'm feeling and what I want to say, and then it sort of does it in a different way. I've got to do a speech tomorrow at an AGM, and the speech I wanted to make was quite direct. So let's say that, and it's I quite like what it's done actually. So, it's I think it will come across.
Stop you, does it?
because it kills the objections. You know, you're not riling people up while getting your point across. So yeah, so that's pretty cool. In the news, my first news story, because I get it to, again, I get Gemini to go through my inbox and pull out. I give it a list of emails of news things that I get, and then you've got to sort of put it down to the best stories, you know. So, but the first one it come up with was about Gamma. So, you know, we've obviously demoed Gamma quite a few times, not recently, but it's got 100 million users. So I think that's pretty impressive. They're probably not all paying, but obviously it's quite but they're adding stuff all the time as well. So I did have another look at it. I will do a demo on there, but but I just thought it was that they're doing where they can create a professional website in 30 seconds and things like that, but that they've got an AI lip sync feature and for video and that's scarily accurate, and they're sort of doing more and more stuff on there, and it's still as far as I know it's still only £8 unless they're sneaking out more than that. So I think that's pretty good. So we'll have a look at that. Akara is a startup that seems to be it's got a high valuation, haven't they all? But it's just launched something called the AI Chief Marketing Officer. So it's
Akara are smart home company, aren't they?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, they do
It
smart
might be.
internet thing devices for smart homes.
There was one of these companies where you pay them money and then they give you 500 credits and then you can use any AI that you like. I mean, that was how I knew them.
Different Akara.
Yeah, that's how I knew them. But now they've got like a it's one of their top tiers. It's $99 a month. But you've got a chief marketing officer. It'll go through. You just give it your URL. It will go through and it will search everywhere else, social media and everything. Come up with recommendations, and then it will also. It's like continuous. You know, it's an agent, so it's. I think it's something that's I will have a look at, but I don't think I'd pay $99 at this point. I'm not sure. And there's OpenAI. I guess your Steffi is more relevant to you. 4.5 mini, or no, 5.4 mini, not 4.5 mini, 5.4 mini.
Yeah, using it actually put the new model into Splogit.
Yeah,
So I'm using it to generate words now.
because it's specifically for high volume API, isn't it? So
Very nice.
for faster coding. So these are they're tool use specialists. So there's all these different AIs, all these different sizes of AIs now. So Claude Cowork as well. Has anybody used Claude Cowork? I thought about installing it just to give it a go. It's you've got to install the app either on Windows or Mac, and it basically lets the AI see what you're doing in real time across all your apps against all your stuff. So I think smart ghosts sitting on your shoulder, it says here.
Claude's something I've never got into, but I keep seeing people talking about it, and it's got to the point where I think I've got to learn it now. I've got to do it.
Well, everybody, you know, it's always been good at code, hasn't it? So it's always been known for being great, accurate coder. So and as that's what I'm using stuff for, it might be worth having. You do have to have a paid for version to get Cowork, but you can. I think it's $20 or £20 a month. I'm not done. It's that sort of level, same as the others, really.
Yeah.
But apparently they are losing money on their subscriptions, all of the AI's companies.
Oh, they must be.
So
Although I can't remember if I mentioned last week about people complaining about Perplexity and how even on the higher levels, they're reducing what people can get. The people paying 100, 200 a month, whatever it is, they're actively reducing what they can do within it. You think, oh, that's interesting.
Mm.
They must be hemorrhaging money, and they're much smaller.
Yeah, yeah. And Perplexity have just introduced its agent platform. Basically, you got to buy a Mac Mini and plug it into your computer, and then you've got your local AI. Your Perplexity AI is then running locally, so obviously you're not going to be troubling their systems. So I assume,
That makes sense, doesn't it? If it's stuff that you don't need real time stuff for.
yeah.
Where it makes more sense if you could do that, and then every now and then say, right, now I'm going to pay for credits to use the live stuff.
Yeah. I assume it would update if you're running a. I'm not sure how it would work if you've got an agent platform. But again, it's something to look at. But I know that it was sort of introduced this week, so it's a bit early days. But I'm sure I'll see YouTube videos about it before too long. That's my main source of information. Apple's blocked its vibe coding. There's a couple of apps like Replit and Vibe Code that you could use on the Apple, and they're blocking them because they say they may be sort of, it's to do with their terms and conditions on their app store. So it's sure see there, because Google have got vibe coding on their free platform as well. So we'll have a look at it later on if we've got time. Midjourney, I haven't used Midjourney for a while, but they've got version 8. I think I was on version 4 when I last looked at it. So I haven't seen Midjourney was always regarded as the best image generator to all of them, and they've got quite a generous free tier. So, or they used to. So it's as we were saying yesterday, it's not about being an artist anymore. It's being about the best describer. So if you can describe your image really well, then you're going to be the one with the best pictures.
I actually have an AI that creates image prompts.
Yeah.
Which is good. So you get subject setting, lighting, there's loads of different headings that I feed into the AI, and I give it the words of the blog post, and I say, create me an image prompt, using this structure based on those words, and then it does, and then I'll go in and edit it and tweak it and change it, and only then will I push the button to create the image, which is quite a clever way of doing things. It took me ages to figure out that framework. We've got it working.
Keep seeing stuff about Mistral. Is it French, Mistral? I think it is. They've launched Small 4. It's a reasoning multimodal model, and it's doing agentic coding all in one open source package, which is but I keep seeing stuff that people are really rating Mistral and liking it to somebody showing up to the AI party with a better but cheaper bottle of wine, But it's I am going to have a look at Mistral if it's because I keep seeing stuff, saying try it out. So Google Stitch we just talked about, and robotics as well. The bigger make humanoid bots. They've been doing it for a while. They've just they've improved their to read my notes now. They've like the way the robots move around. The way you've got to do it now is it has to have an internal map of where it's working, so it can't leave the factory or anything. Now it can actually it's got autonomous movement. It can navigate without hand holding or pre-mapped environments. So before it was a bit like, you know, those automatic hoovers. You've got to give it a map of your living room and everything before you can leave it to its own devices. But now it'll do multi-step real world task execution on its own, and it'll see what needs doing and do it. It won't just do a list of stuff. And it's kind of, they're saying they're moving beyond demos to real world commercial use. So perhaps they'll be working in the warehouses, and perhaps we'll be wrong. Perhaps one of these guys will turn up as a plumber and fix your tap. Who knows? It's yeah, they look a bit Star Wars, you know, like the what are they called, the soldiers in Star Wars, you know, the
stormtroopers.
Yeah, stormtroopers. Yeah, they look a bit like stormtroopers, the ones I've seen, but they're a little bit scary. But perhaps they'll put a nice face on them eventually, and you won't be able to distinguish them from a human.
It's quite interesting that if what was the name? The film with Will Smith investigating the robots.
iRobot.
Yeah.
Robot, yeah, exactly. That level of integration into society of robots, but not the NX5s, please. The previous models were pretty cool.
Right, and then something we kind of touched on yesterday, wasn't it? It was about the helium crisis, and the Straits of Hormuz isn't just about oil. It's about lots of other things as well, and the helium crisis for you need it for making chips, and you can't store helium because 50% of the world's helium comes through the Straits of Hormuz. And you need helium to you can't make AI data centers without helium, and you can't store it because it escapes from practically everything.
There's only a finite amount of helium on the planet.
Yeah.
Once it runs out, it runs out. We don't get any more.
Right. Yeah. Because it's an element, isn't it? I suppose we could. Doesn't the sun produce a lot of helium?
Yeah, but what we were saying, see, hydrogen is very, very common and very stable. I mean, okay, it's explosive, but it's actually everywhere. But helium isn't. We only got a certain amount on the planet. And as soon as you extract it, it tries to escape the atmosphere. That's the thing. So because it's such a small element, small atom, it will try and escape everything. But then again, hydrogen tries to escape. But we have a lot of hydrogen, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Helium's different. There was only a certain percentage when the planet was formed that we got.
Yeah.
So extracting it, eventually we'll run out of helium.
We'll have to find a different solution by then anyway. So
no more floaty balloons.
No floaty balloons, no people with silly voices at the end of the party.
Well, that's the only thing I thought, yeah.
Only good use of helium.
But it will mean that, you know, like people like Samsung will be prioritized. If they say they've got enough for about 90 days, but after that it'll be that they'll have to restrict they'll have to decide which chips they're going to make, essentially. So they say that companies like Samsung will obviously prioritize high margin AI chips rather than consumer electronics. So there might be a shortage of phones or stuff that's made for the consumer market.
We're not expected to run out for 300 years, but it is a non-renewable resource. That's what Google's telling me.
Yeah.
It's a byproduct. It's created by the decay of uranium and thorium over millions of years.
So we can't make it for them.
And we're wasting it in floaty balloons.
We're wasting it on floaty balloons, we are.
They'll look back at us in 300 years' time and just shake their heads.
Yeah. Do you know what they did with the helium?
Yeah,
Wasted it
and
in
this
floaty balloons.
and this and this very video will be one of the ones they refer to.
That's right.
Yeah. Talking head video from 2026.
That's
Yeah.
right. And then there's 50% of the global sulfur and sulfuric acid flows through the Straits of Hormuz as well. Where does this stuff come from? It's not made in Iran, is it? It must come from a bit further north and then just come through. How come we haven't not been alive to this thing beforehand? You need high purity sulfuric acid for etching silicon wafers. That's not the sort that goes around ice creams. That's the sort of chips. Chips and
Well,
chips. As I said yesterday, chips is not
You
potatoes.
lost sharing it, chips.
chips and wafers.
well, sulfur is mined in Africa, isn't it? So
Well,
they'll ship the raw sulfur ore.
it ends up in the Straits of Hormuz.
Yeah. Well, they just ship it up to Saudi Arabia or wherever. It just happens that the refining plant is on the Red Sea or wherever it is. Yeah.
Send it out because and then things that there are smaller ones, sort of aluminium, 9% of aluminium and things like that, and bromine, and there are little things that are going to cause problems. The sort of data center, like it'd be something that stops the data centers, like the racks that they put the servers in. You suddenly can't make them anymore. So then you can't build the data center because you haven't got the racks. Something stupid like that. So it's so I think that's
Yeah. There'll be a network cable shortage, something really stupid that they can't get. The little plastic connectors that shipped out of the Red Sea only.
yeah. We've got something was this. It's about our AI. I'm going to share my screen. This is okay. I should be able to right. It's have you heard about modern monetary theory? It's kind of a because we know that our infrastructure's crumbling. The roads are a patchwork of potholes. I used to drive up to sort of Western, which is our nearest town, and I used to know where the potholes were, and I was just weave around them. Now I have to choose which potholes I'm actually going to go down because there's so many of them. It's impossible to avoid them. So and there's young people have given up the dream of ever owning a house, and hospitals are the waiting lists that stretch on for years, and the government say, well, there's no money left. We're told that we're living in a time of scarcity, but is that actually true? This is what proponents of modern monetary theory are putting forward. I'm sort of a little bit out, but the reason, the theory is the reason we're feeling broke is because our politicians are stuck in the 1970s. They treat the UK Treasury like a piggy bank. So we have to find the money under the sofa cushions before we can fill in a pothole or hire a nurse. But the UK is a monetary sovereign. We don't find money, we don't find pounds, we issue them. When we say we can't afford to fix the infrastructure, we aren't talking about a lack of money. We're talking about a lack of political will and a fundamental misunderstanding of how modern money works. Now, this is modern monetary theory is a flipping logic. It's not left or right. It's just it just is. It's about taxing first and spend. At the moment, it's tax first, spend second. In the MMT world, you spend first and tax second. When government wants to build a school, it doesn't wait for your tax to come in. It just types numbers into a keyboard at the central Bank of England, and creates those pounds instantly. we obviously, so you might say, why do we pay taxes? But it's not to fund the government, but it's to give the pound value and to keep the economy from boiling over.
Well, that's quantum easing, isn't it?
Yes, quantitative
Free
easing. They just produced, they just created pounds. Now, people will say, well, you can't just create money because you'll end up like we did in the 70s, having to borrow money from the from the from the Americans. But the problem in the 70s was that due to woolly thinking, they borrowed the money for overspending as such in dollars. So then they had to pay back in dollars, and that's what got them into trouble. Now, the problem is, if we can just create money, well, why don't we just create £1 billion for everyone? It's a bit like having Hitchhiker's Guide. Why don't we make leaves legal tender? We'll all be fabulously wealthy. Well, it's because you run into an inflation problem. Yeah. So this is what you have to do, is to make sure the resources are there before you create the money. It's no good creating, if you just create money to spend when you haven't got the output to satisfy that. It's that's where it comes all unstuck with inflation, and inflation will kill the economy eventually. So there are still speed limits. It's just they're just looking at it from the other way around. You can't just produce endless amount of money to fund endless amount of projects. But this is so there has to be real resources for that money to go on. So there have to be builders, has to be steel. Otherwise prices go up. If you want to build a hospital, you need, the local area has to be producing enough concrete. Otherwise it's not going to happen. Or it will happen, you will suck in it in, something else is not going to happen, the price will go up, and that will fund inflation again. So the sort of MMTs say that the real deficit isn't lack of money, it's lack of people and materials to do the work. So you can't run out of money, but you can run out of bricks, is the thing, because you can just print money. It's not financial. The limits are physical. So have you got the energy? Have you got the labor? Have you got the materials to do that project? Is there spare capacity to do these things? So it's that that's the weak link with having it takes a lot of planning. So in other words, if you're going to do MMT, modern monetary theory, if you're going to have an economy based on it takes a lot of planning, and you've got to be very strict about what you've got to do. And the weak link is obviously the politician. I think we said before, the skills it takes to get to the top of the greasy pole are exactly the same skills that make you totally unsuitable to do the job. And to quote another Hitchhiker's Guide maxim about they follow people blocks. And
they have to have 3 or 4 legs.
That's right. Yeah,
yeah,
it's true. Actually, yes, they do. Because I thought that was a thing of the past. I generated this on Gamma, and obviously it's used a cheap image generator.
It makes me feel all warm and fluffy going back a year or so.
Yeah. So anyway, all politicians have got 3 legs.
Well, they got,
as we know, and they're not gonna. They come to the end of the electoral cycle and they say, no, you can't build that hospital because we haven't got enough bricks. That's going to be so we'll be victims of short-termism. They'll spend the money anyway. That'll cause the inflation, and the all the wheels will come off. So that's the trouble with a framework that relies on human judgment alone. So what I'm doing with this. So AI could be the savior of the country, of the world, by being a resource mapper. So AI can do what no Treasury official can do. If we replaced political guesswork with AI resource mapper, instead of a minister guessing at whether we can afford a new railway, which is what happens now, an AI will scan billions of data points in real time. It will know exactly how much spare cement is in the supply chain, how many engineers are available, where the energy grid has slack, and it turns the budget from a political argument into a scientific reality. So
There
it's,
is a massive caveat there.
yeah,
And I think it was mentioned on the previous slide is that politics runs in 4-year cycles.
yeah,
This MMT requires
yeah,
decades
that's right. Well,
of
it needs
just
forever. It's the forever
yeah,
system.
yeah.
So
You have to give your entire fiscal policy over to it.
yeah, yeah. Or you'd have to say, let's get rid of politicians and AI, and that'll go down well with people who are AI phobic already. So anyway, this is the other side of this system is that it's a job guarantee. Everybody gets a job if they want one, because you would scrap unemployment benefit and replace it with a job guarantee. I mean, obviously there are people who are disabled and things, so we're not going to be working. But but there's AI can transform. With guaranteed job schemes around the world, and no one's got 100% job guarantee scheme. It's about sort of digging holes and filling them in again. Because just giving people something to do, whereas a proper resource mapper would identify genuine needs and match it to people, to the meaningful work that the private market is ignoring at that point. It doesn't. It's so there's, as we know, there's a care deficit, and there's ecology and skills and knowledge and tutoring and teaching people, and there's all sorts of spin-offs from people having a job. The People feel better about themselves. People less likely to take drugs. There's less crime. There's all sorts of benefits with people having a job, for the individual. So it's that's the other side of the MMT is the AI managed job guarantee scheme. Well, they don't think AI now. The weak link is that it's being MMT is mostly promoted. It's being promoted by the Greens at the moment, and it was also called Corbynomics, because but they've been criticised because they've got bad planning. What they're planning going to work because they've not doing it properly. So many of the MMT proponents, the old left tradition, they're suspicious of AI. They think it's going to take people's jobs and crush Labour's bargaining power and smash the spinning jenny. And
It is if done right.
yeah, yeah. So it's kind of but they're sort of mistaking the system for like because obviously the left don't like rich billionaires. I mean, not many people like rich billionaires having all the power and all the money, but it's kind of they see it AI as being part of that structure. Well, it doesn't have to be. It's So I think AI is the ultimate MMT tool. As AI is not the enemy of this project or this way of thinking or this theory. It's actually it's the only credible instrument you could use to actually implement it, to actually get the system going. And actually you would then better society. You would then all the fears people have got about AI would end, because you are when it isn't taking all the jobs, it's actually making society better. So AI is not replacing the worker; it's replacing the bureaucrat.
This would actually remove all politics, because you'd have to black box this to stop people fiddling with it.
That's right. Yeah.
That's
Exactly. That's you can't just hand the keys to a black box to a politician, and but then can you have a computer says no society where you can't vote out an algorithm? It's so should we have hybrid a hybrid system. Um,
I don't think you
it's
can. It's all or nothing.
yeah, yeah. So
It is. If you built this right, let's say it was owned by the UK, the country, so it's a
yeah,
sovereign piece of software.
yeah,
As long as you didn't let anyone fiddle with it and you just let it do it,
yeah,
it would work. But as soon as you get, oh well, we want to reduce this or increase that, you're changing the model.
yeah, exactly. Because the computer says no just before an election isn't a good look. And
Mm.
like you can't have that. Sorry, you can't have that hospital because, like I said earlier, you can't have that hospital because there ain't enough concrete. Isn't people will be up in arms about it. So people are a problem. So it's it's the legitimacy and accountability. And can obviously there has to be a human override at some point. It just depends um
Yeah, but
where you put it,
who's the human that makes the final decision? That's the
yeah.
thing.
Well, it would have to be somebody who's elected, wouldn't it? So stop that. But I found it quite interesting because
Yeah.
it's a kind of it's been like a left wing because we're focusing on people rather than profit. If you like, it's about making people happy, making society work better, and kind of
Well, it's like you were saying, oh, you can't have this hospital because we don't have enough concrete, but we will have it in 2 years
yeah,
and we'll build it then. But people are just about, I want it now.
yeah, yeah,
And they get angry about, well, we've scheduled it for 2 years. I mean,
yeah,
I seriously think this is like, it's like that. Oh, what was the name of the TV show Person of Interest?
right,
The guy who created the surveillance tool, black boxed it because he said, I can't have anybody interfering with it, tweaking the code
yeah,
because they'll use it for nefarious purposes. He says, as it is, it's perfect.
mm,
Just let it run.
yeah,
And I think that's the only way. I mean, the thought piece would be what would happen if you gave your entire country over to AI to let it run the country.
mm,
That's what MMT is about with AI these days.
yeah, yeah. Because
But
Well,
you
when you
can't
watch the last Mission Impossible film,
exactly.
that's very much along those lines, isn't it? Everything's
Mm.
the world's taken over by it.
yeah, yeah. But you sort of build your Star Trek society, if
Yeah,
you
but
like.
whose morals and ethics are going into the black
Well,
box?
that's the thing. Who decides? That's the thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Does it
Donald
yeah,
will
Trump.
it come
I'll
up with
vote
its
for Trump.
own? Yeah, that's right.
yeah. They just blow everything up because they insulted us.
Yeah, yeah. So we sort of, yeah. So you sort of, as it says, you're sort of marrying the mint with the mint with the machine. We don't physically print money, but there's only two
Yeah,
ways monies are produced: is by the Bank of England writing checks for the government, just creating it out of thin air, and the banks also produce it out on license from the government, from the central authority. So you apply for a 20 grand loan, they key it in on the machine, press the button, and 20 grand appears in your account that you go and
yeah.
spend. But that 20 grand hasn't come from anywhere; it's come out of thin air because they've created the money supply. The government's told them how much they're allowed to create, but it's free money, isn't it? And they get the interest from
Oh,
that. And
yeah,
then
yeah. They get the interest on money that didn't exist before you took the loan out.
that's right.
Banks are a complete winner. They really are. No,
So
I like the idea of having AI run the country, but yeah, you're gonna have to black box it.
yeah, yeah,
You
because
can't
it's
let politicians fiddle with it.
yeah. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Because you've got accountability and elections and democracy is quite dear to us, I suppose. And
Mm.
but then perhaps we can get them to do something else. Perhaps they can be sort of opening up new data
Yeah,
centers.
well, that's the end of democracy. If you did
Yeah,
that, that's the democracy.
yeah, yeah.
There is.
I should
I
get
mean,
some
but it
sort of
might produce a utopia.
yeah. China have some sort of form of democracy where um they have really local pods, of everything's extremely local. And
Mm.
so you've got a guy who's in charge by the will of the people that live around there. They don't go and put ballot box in, but have meetings and they decide who's going to be the leader for that particular area. And then um, then they can get rid of him next year if they don't like him, you know. But they have a like a local democracy. I don't know. I'm just spouting crap probably. but but I'm just thinking of a way you could preserve democracy and have this system as well, you know.
Yeah, I don't think you could. I don't think you can because as soon as a politician if a left-wing politician comes in, they're going to try and shift the AI to more socialist policies. If right-wing gets in, they're going to try and shift it more to let's benefit the companies and the rich people. You know, and you
exactly. That's the thing about it, taking it out and making it will enrich everybody, and people then live without fear. And I mean,
that's it.
I mean, a lot of people are frightened by money. That the fact you've got a guaranteed job system and all these other things, they're kind of they're quite alluring. It's just that the other thing I was thinking of was, would you suck in imports and would that queer the pitch? You know, I mean, what happens in those scenarios? You know, because
and the other thing is, if you're hooking into billions of data points, you know, which you're going to need to do. It could be gamified because people could be giving it duff data or data that favors them.
Yeah,
that sort of. So it's really interesting what's
possible.
I think it's fascinating what we're talking about, and I'd like to see it, but it would have to be a sovereign system that isn't interfered with by politicians, which therefore means that's the end of democracy.
Yeah. But then do you go for a system where everyone's better off, or is democracy non-negotiable? I don't know. I mean,
well, the only way to do it, you would say that the AI is actually replacing the civil service.
Yeah.
You know, and the politicians, see, this is what politicians do. They tell the civil service this is what we're going to do, and the civil service should do it without complaint. I mean, they don't anymore, but they should.
Yeah.
So you could replace the entirety of the blob with an AI system that just takes its instructions from the government of the day. That would preserve democracy.
That's what this envisages is getting rid of the bureaucracy and more practical things. But it's just getting that maybe the politicians would be directing AI to work towards a certain goal, but then you wouldn't be able to buck the system by telling it to build a hospital regardless.
Yeah, because that would just ruin the plan.
Because that would screw up something else. It would have a knock-on effect and everything would fall apart, you know. But whether AI is clever enough to do that at the moment, I don't know. But it's like a future use, and it gives a future that is less scary than the one that a lot of people give about, you know, that they're looking at a future based on what we've got now, where the rich are getting richer and people will be without a job, and it'll be, you know, I suppose under this system, King Charles would be Charles Windsor Mountbatten Windsor.
We wouldn't need a monarchy.
Won't need him either. But I mean,
it's a really interesting thought experiment, like.
Yeah, that's right.
Running an
that's what I think. That's what attracted to me. I said, it's something to think about, you know, because it might not be, you know, it might be you know, that there might be something fatally flawed in it. But there's a lot of people, you know, on YouTube and things, so there's a lot of proponents of it. Whether it's good enough, you know, I can see a disaster as well, you know, because you end up with hyperinflation and you know, things going badly wrong as well.
Well, if it got it wrong, you get hyperinflation.
Yeah.
Too much quantitative easing causes hyperinflation, as we know with Douglas Adams and burning down the forests.
That's right.
Yeah. You know.
revalue the leaf that burned down all the forests.
Just burn down the forest.
So yeah, so I think it's good. Where are we? Should we do something else? Oh, I've got. What do I do? Let's do. I'll wait till we've got more people. Because we've got like AI terminology, but all you guys are too clever for that. So
Yeah,
You already know what it means.
feel special now.
The silicon technocrat. There you go. That's the AI in the MMT system. Is the silicon technocrat. I've lost my got so many notes. It's ridiculous. There's Google free stuff. Is that it? Opal. Yeah, they still haven't got that thing that does the social media for them, but they just share the screen again. There was so it was if you go to opal.google, right to do it. Okay, so it's a no code app builder.
Don't write that. Put me out of
It's Google. It's for mini apps. It's so a blog post writer. Oh my god, let's not press that on then.
I spent years developing Slog It and destroyed it in one sentence.
Opal.google. Yeah, exactly. So it's so let's just try it.
I want you to click the start button and see what it does on blog post writer
Okay.
in the box just to the right.
Yeah. It's all right. It's just it sort of wants me to log it, even though I'm already logged into Google.
Oh, boo.
Oh, for God's sake. I was watching well, there's no need to fear if you live in the UK and you're a blog post writer, because
Yeah,
this thing ain't gonna work. So it's there's
Oh,
quite a
right.
few.
That wasn't you. It's the system doing it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
There's quite a few apps, the Google apps that don't work. So there was Google AI
Just,
Studio.
do you remember a while ago we talked about Zip WP?
Yeah.
I had an email coming from while we've been talking, telling me that my account is going to be paused because it's inactive, and they've reset all the credits, etc., and all that sort of stuff. And apparently, they reckon they got 3 million websites have been generated on it. Really?
Yeah. Well, I think that they might have been generated. They might not have been deployed.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because it's I know I've made I've only ever deployed one website that I made on
that.
On that, yeah, and I've probably built about 30.
Yeah.
So there's just
it was promising, but it wasn't quite what
no,
it could be.
no. They've one of the Astra, one of the most common plugins for WordPress is married in with that zip now.
Yeah.
So I guess there's a lot more people going across from there, but
Right.
it still seems better to do it manually.
Right.
Gemini got new features as well. They've got like they've got a new there's like a daily briefings feature. It's called it's called scheduled actions, but you got to have a Google account, like a paid for one of some sort. So it's but they've got something called scheduled actions now as well that's been added in. It can do like automation, like draft a weekly email based on your emails or documents, and or it can do a recurring search on a news or topic, or it can give you a daily briefing. Sort of, it reads your emails and your calendar, it gives you a daily briefing, things
Right.
like that. So it's I think other AIs have always had that, but it's just appeared in in Google. This is AI Studio. Hold on, I'll just try and find it. Share my screen again. I'm pretty sure the speech works. So there's a speech, Google AI Studio / generate speech. You can just generate speech and download it. It's pretty good, and it's free. So that's the bonus with that. Let's try and think of one where I definitely created an app on Google. Like there was a vibe code. You can, yeah, of course you can use Banana without limits. It's still on AI Studio. If somebody wants to use that without paying for a Google account, they can still use it. There was a vibe coding, so you can create any app, and then it would deploy it as well into Google's space. So then you could share that app, or even try and get people to pay for it through access through a website or something to create it not now. But I'll find out what it is. I'm sure, I thought it was called Vibe Code. Whether it's disappeared, and because Opal's been around for a while, but it seems to be a similar thing. I think that's why I was getting confused, because you can with the AI Studio Vibe Coder, you can just do a workflow. You just build it, you preview it, then you just click on deploy, and it just deploys it into Google Cloud, and then you can share it from there. So if you're interested in that and you find it, let me know where it is. I want to find that from next time. Yeah. So I'll do the I'll do AI Terminate. I could do a quiz with Shirley to wake her up. What's agentic AI, Shirley?
She's on mute, but it's probably a good thing.
It's all right. I'm not going to embarrass.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, because there's all sorts of terms that you see: agentic AI, large reasoning models, vector database, RAG, retrieval augmented generation, MCP.
I think it's being cruel, Shirley. We've just got you to the point where you started using it, and then bang, this week is into all the hardcore stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I went on a bit longer on MMT because it was just something I found interesting, and I thought AI. The people talking about it on YouTube are not talking about AI as being a thing with it. But when I had a chat with AI about it, AI seemed to think, yeah, using AI is a great idea. So it's
AI will always say AI is a great idea.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So there's MCP, Model Context Protocol, which is the standard for AI to be talking to any sort of app. So it's like having a USB slot for AI. So it's like a standardized protocol. It's like your USB-C port. You can use it for anything. So so you can connect AI up to any app. So it's So I think that's they're there. But there's sort of I'll just finish with one interesting one, which was AI, artificial superintelligence, ASI, which is which makes AGI look like the dimwit of the family. So it's so smart that we literally can't comprehend it. It's an AI that can redesign itself so to become even smarter every second. It's the difference between a human and an ant.
Yeah, we become the ant, don't we?
So yeah, so we can look forward to that, and AI then can really run the country, poison all the politicians, and
I
then
think the three laws still need an extra law.
yeah,
That everything you do is to the benefit of humanity. That's the
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
That should be rule zero.
And who decides what's the benefit of men? I mean, somebody might think, well, the benefit of humanity is to kill all the capitalists. And then somebody
Well,
else might say to wipe out all the commies, you know. So I mean, it's kind of
it might think, it needs to reduce the planetary population by 2/3.
that's right, yeah, yeah, yeah. We've got to give the tigers a bit of breeding space and kill off all the Indians. So
Yeah,
it sounds like a good basis for a film. Anyway, thanks for coming along today, and hope we've got something out of it, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, I've got a thought experiment running in my mind now, which is
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's I mean, it's been running in my mind all week, so it's I thought I would spew it out onto you lot.
MMT, yeah, it's interesting.
Very
Yeah.
good.
So
Yeah.
it's something that's worth, exploring, I think, in our heads, just to see. Anyway, see you next time.
Thanks,
Cheers.
David. Have a great weekend, kids.